Preview.
Combustion.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Been running the game with my team making plays. Talking 80, my G, Swan and Jules in this place. Surrounded by dogs, keep the quarterback safe. I'm the one with the plans, they gon' do what I say. The game is not over, we don't celebrate in the end zone. We don't got no time in the wait. H-Town run down, we don't premeditate. We just go and get to it, we got them on skates. If the game going to overtime, kicking the overdrive, we gon' be first at the finish line. Play looking full, but I finish mine. Can I get second? We gon' line up like it's dinner time. We put in work till we get us a ring. Super Bowl season, we running the scene. H-Town the home of the realest that breathes. Keep your face down when you talk to the king. What up, what up? Welcome back to another episode of the H-Town Rundown. This is your boy, AD, and I got my co-host in the building. We got Clayton in the building. We got Mike G, and I don't know what the hell has happened to Auntie Swan, but yeah, she's in the building as well. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got Texans fan in rehab. We got Yvonne. We got Chill Out. We got Rolo. We got Neptune, all in the building. There's Auntie Swan. How's everybody's Tuesday afternoon going or Tuesday evening going?
Eventful. No complaints, though.
Going well. We're swarming.
Swarming, absolutely. What about you, Auntie
Down
Swan?
there, swarm.
There we go. What up, Mike? What up? Yeah, Houston Texans have been very, very busy this week. They have made a few transactions as well as they played a preseason game on Saturday, which you all watched with us live on playback, where the Houston Texans defeated the Carolina Panthers. What was it, 20-10 or 20-3? Was it
23.
3.
3? Yeah, very, very successful game for the Houston Texans. The offense showed some life after being kind of downtrodden really the whole training camp. But we've seen a big turnaround in the offense, and I want to hear y'all initial thoughts from the game, and we can go into the transactions right after.
Shoot, for me, look, a win's a win, right? Look, if the Ravens can be happy about preseason dubs, then, hey, I can be happy for them too. I just like the fact that CJ Stroud, I like the fact that even though the first drive didn't go as we had hoped on playback, I like the fact that they went right back out there the second go round, made sure they punched in the end zone. Kept it primarily vanilla as far as we know, but still was effective. Got to the end zone, punched it in, touchdown. I like the fact that the defense, we're talking about it, right? The defense was out there, I think, for a few more series after the offense. So you can tell they took it serious. You like the physicality. You like the success, even if it was, the preseason. So no complaints, really.
Yeah. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I like the even though it's vanilla as it should be in the preseason, I like the emphasis on a quick strike passing attack. Because there's going to be some challenges with the offensive line, even though they did look really good overall in the joint practices and in the game on Saturday. The only caveat is that the Panthers, were dead last in the league in yards and points allowed last year, and like third worst in sacks. But I don't know what's going on back there. But they looked good offensive line, because that was the main thing, right? The receivers had good chemistry with Stroud. The defense was swarming on every damn play. So I like how the defense looked. And we just need this offensive line to continue to gel. Swan, what you got?
I actually loved the game. It was very much different. Looked like a real offense. I like the quick hitters. The run game, I like seeing the variety of seeing Chubb out there, Jawar, Woody, pass pro. Something I had not seen all of last year. They actually picked up a stunt. So that was surprising, but it was just when D'Amico talked about it in the state of the Texans, and always kept been reiterating throughout of five guys working together as a unit. That's what I saw out there. So that gave me hope. Um, I like the spacing with the wide receivers. None of that bunched up, and we even saw some screens here and there actually looked like real NFL screens, and were successful. It wasn't just Nico. You know, um, special teams. Look good. Defense. It was doing this thing. As usual. So I actually feel more comfortable going into week one against the Rams. We got to figure out who's going to be left tackle, who's going to be right tackle. Had a conversation, but for me, it was a complete game that I liked. Like you said, played. I mean, the first drive didn't go as you wanted, but I kind of expected that probably would happen since that is the first time they had been out there playing. They didn't play the previous week together, but I like what I saw so far.
Yeah, everything is kind of gelling. I think best thing for me was the defense. Defense just dominated on every aspect, and like I've said before, I feel like this is going to be the best defense in the NFL. Going into this 2025-2026 season, and Will Anderson, it's going to be Defensive Player of the Year.
Mm.
And he's just proving his worth and showing out and showing he's going to be unstoppable. Same thing, him and Daniil Hunter, both of them made plays. Will, I think, was part of the sack with Mario Edwards on Bryce Young, and then Daniil had the rip on the arm of Andy Dalton that had the ball just flutter in the air. That had Panthers fans thinking that Derek Stingley was food out there, which everybody knows who watches Derek Stingley. That's absolutely a falsity. But damn, Swan.
I didn't do that. It did that. All I did was type the once and the stuff is repeating. I'm like, damn.
Swan going crazy. But
No, I'm not touching my keyboard. I only touch.
Yeah, shout out Jeremy. Shout out Jeremy Chugs. In the for sharing the post as well. He's a sports fan. So I'm just happy CJ's looking like CJ. I feel like CJ's always looked like CJ. I don't know when he hasn't looked like CJ. But that's just me personally. But yeah, definitely excited for what I saw with the Houston Texans, and Higgins may move up to 5.5 out of the 6. Now that Mitchie's gone. Unfortunately Mitchie's gone, which is the news of the day or the week, should I say. And I'll go ahead and start it. The Houston Texans did trade John Mitchell to the Philadelphia Eagles for tight end Harrison Bryant. Am I saying his name right? Harrison Bryant?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Harrison Bryant. And they basically gave each other the picks back. So in totality, the trade ended up being Kenyon Green and John Mechie for CJ Gardner-Johnson and Harrison Bryant. I think all in all, that's a damn good trade for the Houston Texans, because you get a certified baller in CJ Gardner-Johnson, and you give opportunities to guys in Kenyon Green and John Mechie who weren't going to see playing time with the Houston Texans this year. So we will see. But what are y'all thoughts on this trade? And then I'll talk about the minor signings and releases that happen as well.
I'm brokenhearted. I'm a Meti fan. I'm gonna wait to see when his jersey goes down a little bit more, and I got to purchase it to put it in the closet. I get it. It's business. I'm a fan, so I'm a little bit more emotionally attached than what our GM and head coach and so forth should be. So I get it. I just, like I had mentioned earlier, Yeah, Yvonne. Yes, I am. I was hurt. I was mad. I was really like, what the? Mm, hold up. You know, I hate you.
Thought
Okay,
it'd be appropriate for you.
hold up. No, you don't understand. I have my tablet next to me and my phone next to me, and I thought somehow. So I'm looking like, no. Just realized that what you did, but no. Business wise, yes. If you're telling me I got C.A. Johnson, Gardner Johnson, had the trade happened with Mechie and CJ in the beginning, I would have said, yeah, I got it. But you allowed me to get attached to the idea that Mechie, I was going to see probably, he looked like he was going to be consistent. Um,
Mm.
and I would have liked to seen it through. But uh, as far as the Harrison Bryant guy, as I was saying earlier to the guys, uh, last time I saw dude, he was with the Cleveland Browns, and yeah, he cooked us on a play, and that just makes me nervous that when a guy cooked us and we get him, it
Mhm.
turns to be, you know,
Lamar Miller did great for us. I don't know what you talking about.
no,
Mm.
no,
We literally Lamar Miller cooked us. He
yes,
had
but he never lived.
a
No,
90
he
some yard
did not
touchdown run and
live
turned
up.
around and had one for us.
No, he did not live up to what I you thought you was getting because what he looked like with the Dolphins. No, we did not. I'm
He
sorry.
actually looked better with us than he did in Miami.
Okay. I thought he was solid. I thought
He wasn't solid in Miami. That's why he was let go.
here's the thing is I feel like it's how Bill O'Brien used him that to me called into question. But typically we do that. If somebody cooked us, we go get them, and But anyway, but if he can come in and contribute, great, wonderful. Um, but it was a good business decision overall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I think normally in situations like this, it would be phrased like problem for problem. But this was not a problem for problem. This was a very practical, procedural. I don't even want to say need for need, but it was like a quality depth piece for quality depth piece.
Mhm.
The Texans, we needed tight end three when Brevin went down. So Harrison Bryant kind of slots in there, right? At least as a guy to challenge for the role. Mechie, as we said, he probably I think they cashed in at his peak value, at least for right now. Like for what they could get for him with all the tape out of camp and his numbers in preseason games, right, looking very quality. I think it was a shrewd move just to say, hey, with this little bump up in notoriety and marketability, let's go ahead and try to do something here. So, um, I mean, to y'all's point, I mean, it's not that Mechie. Look, I did a video. It's not that we're not losing 1,000-yard receiver, right? We're not losing somebody who just dropped 15 touchdowns and whatnot. Like that's not what we're losing here. But I definitely think he's capable of much more than what he showed here by a circumstance. So happy for him in that regard. I don't expect much from Harrison Bryant. I mean, sure, he might loan CJ Stroud and the fact that he's good at really dispersing the balls. Um, I can see Harrison Bryant getting a few top. All right. Okay. I was hoping to slide past that. I was hoping. I
Not,
was
not,
hoping to go right past it. But CJ is good at distribution. Okay. Everybody gets touches. So anywho, I can see Harrison, getting a little key first down here and there, being relevant, having the same call once or twice. But that's about it. That's about what I expect. So I mean, happy for Mitch. I mean, it's a surprise move, but okay. It's very for me.
mm-hmm. Mike.
everybody telling you pause. I'm
I
laughing.
know. I'm telling you, as soon as I said it, I was like, dang it.
Mhm.
I
We
just was
will
hoping.
not let that slide around here.
I
Yeah.
tried.
Godspeed to John Mechie.
Now that's what
Um,
you play this for.
Mm.
um, you know, I I had John Mechie in all my pre-draft mock drafts. I had high hopes for him, and I hope he does well in Philly. The opportunities will be there.
Oh, goodness.
Certainly have more opportunities in Philly than he would have in Houston, where he would have been wide receiver 5 at best. Um, I mean, we got a hellified wide receiver group, so I'm not remotely nervous about that. On a macro level, it does highlight how much of a crapshoot the draft can be because, you know, of course, we've all moved on from Kenyon Green and John Mechie, but that was a first and second round pick. And that's just the nature of the draft, though. Um, at the end of the day, now we have CJ Gardner Johnson, who's going to ball out when he's fully healthy um, and allow you to do different things. And man, his energy is going to
Mm-hmm.
spark things for an already incredible defense. Um, and Harrison Bryant, we needed a tight end three after Brevin Jordan went down. So he and Irv Smith Jr. will duke it out. Maybe it puts a little more pressure on Dalton Schultz to actually block. So that'd be a great thing. Uh, but yeah, I was a little disappointed, but not shocked that we moved on from Mechie. I can see that they were trying to put him in a best position to showcase his skills throughout the preseason because I guess they were planning on moving on from him or at least thinking about it. But yeah, I mean, I'm not overly concerned. Like I said, hellified receiver group, and he'll have more opportunities there in Philly where you got 2 stars and then nobody else. So
Yeah, he
Yeah.
comes back with Smitty. So now if he take off and he looking real good this year, I'm not. I am
He,
going to
I mean, FOMO happens. I mean, that's the reason why people want to hold on to Damian Pierce when he's going to get traded as well. Um, but honestly, I think John Mitchell gets an opportunity to play. In Philly, there's not much competition for wide receiver three, and
yep,
he's extremely talented, and he's probably going to take over that spot in Philly as wide receiver three. I think he's a better player than Jahan Dotson, who I think Philly's trying to really get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
So, in all honesty, I think you can see John Mitchell having like 700-800 yards and about 5 or 6 touchdowns this year in Philly. That wouldn't surprise me as wide receiver three, especially if AJ Brown or Devontae Smith gets hurt. Then
Mm-hmm.
John Mitchell may even end up being 1,000-yard receiver for Philadelphia. Um,
That's pretty big.
I was
yeah,
saying,
That's pretty big.
yeah, and like I said, I'm excited for John Mitchell. I'm always excited for those players because at the end of the day, yeah, I'm a fan of my Texans, but I'm also a fan of certain players as well. And John Mitchell,
Mm-hmm.
those guys that I'm according to Mike, AJ Brown already out.
no,
Yeah.
he's at practice. He's not out.
Okay. Yeah, he gone. I ain't tuning up yet. The sound effect is coming. Cause next Tuesday, next week, we about to run them off. We gonna be running them off. The he gone is gonna be going
He
crazy.
gone. He gone.
He gone.
Yeah.
Definitely. Hashtag he gone. For John Mechie, but yeah, I'm excited for him. And the Texans did make some corresponding moves. I'm trying to find a tweet. I think it was DJ Enemy.
yep,
That posted it that the Houston Texans made some moves as well. Let me find that
Mm-hmm.
tweet, and I gotta go down because they released a few players and they brought in some wide receivers, I guess, to take some snaps. They signed Juwan Winfrey as well as Cornell Powell, and then they released wide receiver Xavier Johnson and
Mm-hmm.
AJ Taylor, the running back, who had a pretty good game on Saturday as well. But yeah, it's to me that's just trying to give guys a shot to even make the practice squad at this point. So you're
Mm-hmm.
going to see them playing a lot on. I think the game is Friday or Saturday. That they played a preseason game.
Oh shit.
yeah, I've
Oh,
already forgotten.
Um, Come on, guys.
I'm sorry.
They play on Saturday. They play
About to
Saturday.
say it should be Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday at noon against the Detroit Lions. So we're going to see a lot of Cornell Powell and Juwan Winfrey playing on the field as
Right.
Houston Texans made that change. So running back room is already getting cut down. One less running
Mm-hmm.
back, JJ Taylor. Can't wait for that DP trade to hit like crack. It's going It's gonna be, wonderful day.
I
Um,
mean, sorry to cut you off. I mean, that could be a Super Bowl preview backups edition. So that'd be interesting.
I think Philly's still man. Detroit got a long way to go.
Philly's
Yeah.
a front runner, but
Yeah,
Detroit's in
Detroit.
that conversation.
Detroit is in that situation where they lost both their coordinators,
Yeah.
and were those coordinators the reason that they had the success? Because Ben Johnson, I think, is one of the more brilliant minds offensively in
Yes.
the NFL.
Hmm.
And then I think Aaron Glenn should have been a head coach years ago.
I
He should
agree.
have been a DC even before he even got to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
He was behind what's his name, Dennis Allen in New Orleans forever.
Mm-hmm.
Have had his opportunity a long time ago. But definitely he deserved a head coaching job years ago. He's one of those guys, man. Former Texan, Aaron Glenn,
Hmm.
Aggie.
Well, he,
Aaron
he
Glenn.
like D'Amico. He went back to the team that drafted him. He played for, so
Mhm.
it kind
Yeah.
of worked out perfect.
Yeah. And so, yeah, they got a. I don't even want to go down to other teams because they got a whole situation. I don't know if we want to touch on the coach getting worse. Um,
Yes,
You said the Colts?
yeah, we can touch
yeah,
on the
we
coach
definitely
real
got to
quick.
talk
Oh,
about that.
yes, yes,
Yes,
please,
You
please.
know, we usually don't talk about other teams. Um, in the on this H Town rundown, we usually just keep it strictly Texans and Texan news and Texan ball. But I just want to talk about the hilarity of the dysfunction and the disgrace of an organization that the Indianapolis Colts is. Um, Houston sports fans, shout out to Commission. I saw him posted in the chat. Indiana Jones, the Indianapolis Colts, um, named Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback, and
Mm-hmm.
essentially have given up on Anthony Richardson, who is in his going into his third year long with CJ Stroud and was drafted number 4 overall. And they've essentially given up on him. And I think has he even played 20 games in the
Mm-mm. I
NFL?
think so.
Yeah, I don't think he's played 20 games, and you
Mm-mm.
shedding a tear because Anthony Richardson. So for all the Anthony Richardson fans, he's probably gonna be on else's roster after this season. So y'all make sure y'all look at it. And then I think I saw a tweet talking about the Philadelphia Eagles are licking their chops because they know that this move means the end of Shane Steichen. And
I'll bring him, probably bring him
yeah,
back.
they
Oh,
probably
man.
gonna bring him back as their OC after the fact. So yeah, it's wild. But what are your thoughts about Anthony
Well,
Richardson losing out to Daniel Jones?
well, listen, if I may start for a second. So I didn't even think about the Shane Steichen back to Philly ankle. I didn't think about that.
Me
So
either.
a lot of these things are a cascading effect to the benefit of the Texans. So technically, we are talking about the Texans here. It's very relevant. So, so number one, right? How can I say this? CJ Stroud is the lone survivor from the 2023 QB draft class. When I say that, I don't mean like is he the only guy still in the NFL? Obviously not. Bryce Young, he got benched, but he brought back, right? So I want to give credit before I really start reeling these off, right? So now that I got that out of the way, right? Bryce Young benched, Will Levis, Mayo in the coffee, but benched. You got you know, you got Anthony Richardson now benched, right? So out of the key four, CJ Stroud is the only guy with no long-term injury concerns, never been benched, never even thought about it. No long-term concerns about whether or not he's the guy outside of a lot of people trying to push narratives and agendas, right? Um, a lot of talking heads, people like that, probably some haters in the division, but it's relevant because, especially considering the Steichen back to Philly angle, you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about the culmination of a lot of, Colts mishaps over the years, whether it's Phillip Rivers, whether it's Matt Ryan, whether it's Carson Wentz, right? The list goes on. And then you finish with a guy in Daniel Jones who cost the Giants Saquon Barkley indirectly, comes in, and we were talking off stream about it. I thought bringing in Daniel Jones was a bit of a favor to Anthony because I thought they could have got Kirk Cousins, they could have got Russell Wilson, they could have got a bunch of guys that they really wanted to really bench this dude. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought, why not bring in the vanilla version of Anthony Richardson? They're the same guy. They play the same. Swan made a great point. They play the same way, and
Hmm.
he can just push him to be better. Fast forward to now, he has taken your job. If there was ever a situation where there was an indictment in play, this is it right here of a quarterback, of a franchise, of a head coach. And I will finish with this and I will shut up, move out of the way. I read the report pre-stream of the agent to Anthony Richardson. Let's call him DJ because I forget how to say his first name, but
Yep.
I think it's Johnson, right? And
Hmm.
basically, he confirmed that the trust has now been shattered. It's broken. He said that Anthony made all the improvements that they wanted of him, and they still benched him. Basically, they said that last season when they needed clutch drives and game-winning, heroics, who do they turn to? Anthony Richardson, right? So these are the things that the agent is saying. Now, the article did stop short of saying the agent demanded a trade. However, you might as well say it if you're going to say all these things, you might as well plant the seeds for a trade. So I would not be shocked if in the near future he's playing somewhere else. We just don't know where yet. But um,
Yeah,
yeah, that's my little yeah.
that the thing about it, asking for a trade is really going to be a slap in your face because nobody's going to give you anything as far as
Mm-mm.
value. Because one, you're you can say you're injury prone. You're injury prone quarterback, and that basically you can't beat out a guy who shouldn't be an NFL starter in it. Or, basically a glorified backup quarterback beats you out. And if we want to be real, Gardner Minshew beat him out his rookie year. I think, Ursay forced Steichen to play Anthony Richardson his rookie year. Um, and then I forgot who the backup quarterback was last year.
Joe Flacco.
Joe
Yeah,
Flacco.
Flacco.
Flacco beat him out as well. So I mean, anybody that they brought in to kind of just help him has ended up beating him out. But I mean, it's again, I said it during the draft. It was when the H-Town rundown first started, and I said and I meant it. He was a draft combine hero because
Legend.
he can throw the ball far, he can run fast,
Mhm.
he can jump high, but he cannot play quarterback.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
And
Mm-mm.
that is the epitome of him, and it was it was the reason why. What's the Cowboys' backup quarterback now?
Milton.
Trey Lance.
No,
Oh,
Now Milton.
yeah, Joe Milton. It's the
there you
reason why teams, because Joe Milton came out the year after Anthony Richardson. Everybody stayed away from Joe Milton because Joe Milton was a carbon copy of freaking Anthony Richardson, and he's proven it again in Dallas that he cannot play. Um, so again, no, I'm not trying to harp on Anthony Richardson, but again, the Colts are, just a mess of a franchise, similar to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are on a third coach now in the last 5 years, and then you go with the Tennessee Titans, who, if Cam Ward doesn't work out this year, they're going to clean house again. Um, and it's just going to be, I think all three of those teams GMs suck. Um, Roster construction has been subpar, um, to say the least. And I mean, the Colts, for a team that's saying, "Oh, we can win a division," you're not winning anything starting Daniel Jones as your quarterback. Um, I'm just being on and being frank in the fact that Steichen had to go back to his that one year that he helped take the Giants to the playoffs because he was running. Saquon Barkley was running wild in New York, and he had that type of help behind him.
go. Mm-hmm.
Those
And they
fans,
had the easiest schedule of all time that year too.
I mean, what Jay Z said. Colts fans, I feel bad for you, son. The Texans got 99 problems, but the Colts ain't one.
Listen, hey, not to jump in front of anybody, real quick. You said licking chops earlier if you're the Philadelphia Eagles. Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson and
Mm.
Fadakasi and all those dudes. I know Daniel Jones can run a little bit, But mind you, one of his highlights is him falling on his face wide open
Mm-hmm.
going to the end
Yeah.
zone, right? So all I'm saying is at least Richardson at least would say, like, dang, he could actually get you on some runs and be dominant. Do you understand what that does for this Texans defense like two times a year?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Well,
like,
because Anthony Richardson is,
good
I mean, the
gosh,
size. I mean, 6'5", you're basically 250.
it's a tank.
And we can go back to week 1 of last year when they were on 4th and goal and he scored that touchdown. Jalen Petrie, made contact first,
Mm-hmm.
but because of his size,
He was able to push
he's
through.
going to force his way into an end zone if you're on a goal line like that. Whereas Daniel Jones ain't doing the same thing. Is he shifty? Is he quick? Do we tend to have issues with running quarterbacks? Yes, but I think because our linebacking core, knocking on wood, uh, is to me healthier, um, and the secondary is what it is, and I feel like the D line is going to be better, and I like having Sheldon Rankins back and so forth. Uh, I think you may get a run every once in a while, but overall they're going to make him stand back there and beat him with his arm, and to me that allows the opportunity for that secondary to eat. Uh, so I
Yeah.
think he will be he gives them a better chance to use the weapons that they have than what AR does. And we were talking about the offline. He is still more accurate than than AR. So they got Tyler Warren as a tight end. Okay, you may be able to he should be able to connect with him at times. Josh Downs and Alec Pierce and all them. So you have many weapons. So you don't have to lock on to one, maybe two receivers. Like in New York, you really only had one guy uh, that you really could just truly depend on. So they should be more competitive in games.
Mm-hmm.
They should win some games because their defense is not trash. Uh, but as far as winning the division, uh,
Mm-mm,
unless we got a major injury
mm-mm.
to CJ or something.
I'm gonna
No,
say
you're
this.
putting that out there.
I'm gonna say this. This is how I feel about the division. We can win the division with Davis Mills right now. That's how bad the division is to
No,
me.
I don't have that kind of confidence.
I had that kind of confidence because I feel like our defense can win us games by themselves, even if Davis Mills is being David Mills. Um, we can we can win we can win the division with 9 games with Davis Mills. And that's again, you saying that, but then we just had a whole argument a couple episodes ago about if we on the live, if we would have trade Davis Mills. Oh no, we can't do that. We can't do that. We can't do that.
I say he give me a couple of games.
Hey,
Hey,
he
I thought about it after the fact. I'm sorry. A dude that came to mind, and this is after I watched like what's his name?
Slovit.
Slovic, right? When I saw him running around in that pocket, I said, you know who might be a decent backup here? Taylor Heineke. I don't know where he is, but I'm like,
he was
if
a
you
former
He's
Texan.
on somebody's team because I saw him
Yeah, he
playing
is.
preseason. I forgot who it is.
right, I'm just saying, like, if we did need to move off Davis Mills, if someone gave us a good, offer like a, third or fourth for him, third is kind of high, like a fourth, fifth, something like that.
Yeah,
Heck, see if you can flip a 6 and a 7 for Heineke. You should get him out there.
yeah, he plays for the Chargers.
Yeah.
I knew I saw him playing
Yeah,
preseason last week.
yeah, but I don't think he's gonna make that team because Trey Lance is gonna be the backup quarterback for the Chargers.
Cool. Watch the waiver wire. Would then go pick him up.
Yeah, so outside of that, I don't want to keep talking about other teams. We got enough business to talk about at hand.
Sure.
Um, and we right now we're at the cut down of the 53. I know we talked about the game and talked about how the Texans look, but again, like Mike brought up, Carolina's defense was doo doo last year, and they're not really much to really talk about this year. I don't think they're going to be okay, but I
Yeah,
don't
he'll
think
be better.
they'll be better, but they're not going to be somebody a defense that'll help them win a division. I think they're years away from that happening um, in the South, which is wild to say. But again, you live in the present and you see what the Texans have. I know there's been a lot of talk about the offensive line. And they perform well. They perform well against Minnesota. They perform well again against Carolina. They're stacking games. They're stacking
Mm-hmm.
weeks of being, a competent offensive line. And you have to give credit to Cole Popovich and Nick Haley for, configuring this offensive line. And honestly, the development of guys like Ed Ingram, development of guys like Juice Scruggs, um, hell, even Jared Patterson has been playing well. And, the public enemy number one of the offensive line, Blake Fisher, probably had the best game of the offensive lineman
Mhm.
Saturday. Unfortunately, he did get hurt. But he, needless to say, he held his own and did very, very well in that game against the Panthers. So, offensive line is a hot topic
Mhm.
as far as when it comes to the 53. I was like, do the Texans keep 10? Do they keep 9? I know 9 is the magic number for offensive line. I think D'Amico said that we're keeping 9 offensive linemen. So it's going to be some tough cuts at the very bottom of that offensive line. Do they keep McDermott that they just brought in? Do they let him
Mhm.
hope he makes the practice squad? Um, that's probably, I think, number 10. If Trent Brown comes off a pup, what do you do then? So you have those decisions to make. But I want to hear y'all thoughts about the offensive line, and we'll go from there, and then we'll talk about the running back room as well.
Well, oh, Mike, were you about to go?
No, go ahead, Clay.
I'll keep it brief and hand it off to you. Um, are we at the time with the O line where we're at the good problems to have phase? That's probably a little bit too soon, but I mean, we're talking about guys coming back, Cam Robinson, right? Like some depth, possibly. Um,
Start.
we're talking, right? Right. We're talking about, I'm just saying, we're talking about some positive developments, even in spite of, some injury, situation. And, it is preseason, right? But again, like by all accounts, by every number metric, they perform well. And it seems like some of the pressure numbers have gone down a little bit. There's been more stability, and you got guys coming back. So at the very least, you have a little bit more of a foundation than what you did at first. You have more security. Not saying everything's fully concrete, but the fact that you have some quality play and you got guys coming back, now you can really mix, max, choose, and say, okay, cool. If nothing else, the floor has been raised of the O line. If nothing else, so I'm happy with that. Just give me a higher floor, then we can have conversations, improve things about what the ceiling should be as it relates to the offense. So, but Mike, what you got?
Yeah, I've been preaching this, and great points, by the way. I've been preaching this all off season, right? What's the 3 C's? It's communication, so we can pick up those stunts and twists. It's continuity. It's going to be a challenge early on with 3 new starters, 4 new starters. Communication, continuity, and competition. Bringing in all these new guys. And thus far, throughout training camp and throughout these 2 preseason games, we're seeing the development because of those aspects. Um, the eye test alone, right? Like they are swarming out there, at least by our O line standards. They are really swarming. Um, you want to see it against a better. Hey, shout out to Jules. Yeah, I mean Trent Brown will be on the pup most likely, but you want to see them tested a little more against a better defensive front, but you can't control who you play, and thus far they have um, they've looked good. And shout out to Clay, by the way. I don't want to harp back on a previous topic, but the double entendre with the vanilla comment about Daniel Jones, AR-15. I like that. That was
Yeah,
good.
I mean they call him Vanilla Vic.
Yeah.
That's his nickname.
Mm.
What you got, Swan?
Um,
About the O line?
like I said earlier, the promise. I know that Jules has small sample size over the
Hmm.
2 weeks, but from the beginning of camp to what I saw in both games, they have come a long ways, and they are, to me, operating as a unit. I mean, you went from Cam being the left tackle in camp to you inserted on short notice, Ursary, and I felt like it didn't skip a beat. To me, it felt like that one message that Popovich is teaching is everybody understands that assignment. It's not, when I say a drop off, obviously there's a slight difference between a vet and a rookie, but I mean the sense of what everybody is supposed to be doing. Um, and like I said, I got excited when I saw a running back doing pass pro, and it was a rookie. The fact that
Hmm.
he recognized that stunt, and as quickly as he picked it up. And I have to give that to Popovich because let's face it, folks was crapping all over him because it was like, well, he was there. And when that O line was bad last year, they should have just cleaned house. Why would you keep him? Now, although we heard the players saying that how much they respected him, blah, 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 and everything, nobody really wanted to believe that because it's like, there's no way he could be in that room and it be that bad and you think somehow he's going to improve it, but we've seen it. I mean, so I think he can coach up. Um, so I'm very optimistic. I said earlier to a bunch of folks because folks want to bash us and say, yeah, but y'all got this glaring hole. Everything else you got great, but your O line, that's the only thing that's going to hold you back. And I said, well, I actually think the O line is going to be solid. I didn't say it's going to be good, great, top 10, whatever. I said solid. And that's all I need. And if what we saw, especially this past Saturday, if I can get that consistently, then CJ is going to be fine. Because that first drive, it felt like he still had a little bit of that from last year of, oh shit, sorry. Oh, I can run. That play down on the goal line was really funny. I did laugh at that because it was like, oh my gosh, I can actually run. What? Huh? You know. So I think he'll realize that he can do what he can do. So I'm very happy at the moment. So I'm comfortable with whomever they choose to start as a starting five, but I do like the current starting five they have put out there.
So I will, piggyback on Jules' point. You know, look, this is a good point as well. Said not trying to just remember how Texas fans felt when we brought these same players in during the offseason. Most fans hated these players. I concur. Ed Ingram had a whole podcast dedicated to him, um, by a military man. And then about how bad he was and why are we bringing in Ed Ingram? What's the point of Ed Ingram? Jake Andrews got crapped on, you know, multiple times when we brought him in. Oh, it doesn't. He's coming from one bad O line to another bad O line. And then you go down with Juice Scruggs. The world was over for Juice Scruggs. People were saying he wasn't even gonna make the team beginning of training camp because he was that bad. Then you go to Cam Robinson. He's getting his disrespect on a daily basis. And then of course Blake Fisher. They've turned the tables now that they want Blake Fisher and Cam Robinson off the team. I've seen tweets and comments about people wanting to cut Blake Fisher, and I've seen tweets and comments about people trading Cam Robinson um, with no viable backup or anything behind, you know, Ursery and Titus Howard. So um, it is a small sample size, and I think that because we've had such a low expectation for the offensive line that any glimmer of light or hope that the offensive line can be, you know,
Serviceable.
serviceable, sufficient, coherent, that we got to go balls to the wall with it, and you know kind of hype them up. What's this song by Flipper T? Hype me up. Hype me up. Hey, um affirmations, is what the Texas fans are doing right now. They giving the Texas the offensive line affirmation. Um and so you gotta be positive and happy about the improvement, but I still say we need to proceed with caution and take everything step by step and with a grain of salt before we just jump to automatic conclusions, because it can all go crumbling down week one when Jared Verse and those boys in LA rear back and pin back their ears and go crazy. So we just have to take everything step by step, and like I said, just caution fans, to proceed with caution and just kind of be patient and let everything build up. And Lil Wayne has a perfect song. Let the beat build. Let this off
Mhm.
line build. But go ahead, Clay.
I'm
No,
going with, hey, we're gonna be solid. I'm comfortable. Give me week one. They rolling out Matthew Stafford out there with the broke back. So hey, you gotta worry about us. So I feel like
yeah,
my play is we're on an even playing field as far as I'm concerned.
right.
But I play this. It is what it is. I don't like
Mhm.
I said, I expect them to be solid. I didn't say it's gonna be great, very good. But to me, yeah, I think you could be solid.
Hmm.
Um, are you gonna get a sack? Yeah, I expect that to happen. But overall, is the offense, and maybe my confidence comes from the play calling of what I've seen in those two games with Kaylee. So you were calling for the quick passes, so it kind of helped the O line. So I'm gonna trust that what you're gonna have to do to help out the offensive line and your quarterback and so forth. So um, nothing's changed for me,
Yeah.
and
Go
I'll tell
ahead.
you, just me.
What
I'm
you what
saying,
Uh,
give me week one.
so for me on this, see, both y'all's points, is one you kind of said it. I think that no matter what, as football fans, we have to keep a level head. I mean, it goes both ways, right? Because Houston fans will look. We get new players, we get guys to come over here. We just cling to them like they've always been here, and the sentiment takes over. But then the other thing happens where we're so gun shy and traumatized that you
Hmm.
know any little negative thing that happens, we're like, oh no, blow it all up. Oh no, here we go again.
Yeah,
So just Juan's point. I mean, look, the other teams are allowed to sack our quarterback. They're paid to. Like that's what they're supposed to do. They're paid to put up a good front and to stop us from going to the end zone. Right. So if there's a little bit of trouble, especially with rookies on the line or guys who need further development, that's just football. Now it gets to the point where again, you can come up with a number of different games like the Vikings game or the Chiefs game or anything like that ridiculous where you giving up like what 4 or 5 sacks,
eight,
which is
six,
kind of
seven.
high,
Yeah,
but you give up something like that in the first half, then all right, cool, yeah, we got a problem. But I don't think that's going to be it. To Swan's point, I think just off of pride alone, I think the play calling, I think systemically and infrastructurally, the floor has been raised so much to where the way you carry yourself is going to help you avoid those catastrophic stretches. Because we were talking like stretches, we weren't just talking about like once or twice. We're talking like elongated periods of that kind of stuff. I
right.
don't think they're at that place anymore. So you know, like you said, I just think take the good as it comes. The bad's going to happen, but as long as there's growth and stability and CJ standing upright, then we'll be okay until we're not. Then we make changes.
Yeah, I do want to go back to Swan's point talking about the difference in play calling with Kaylee. I would say we need to proceed with caution with that as well because Bobby Sloyd, we thought Bobby Sloyd was a rock star. That
Uh,
first
No,
preseason.
okay, he
No, no,
didn't.
no, no, no.
He did
Hold
not
on.
look like
Let me
that.
finish
No,
my statement. Let me finish my statement. That first preseason with Bobby Sloyd, we thought we had us one. We thought we had the most majority of Texan fans thought that Bobby Sloyd was a guy. That first preseason,
mm,
because the offense looked dramatically better than whatever the hell Pep Hamilton and whatever the hell what's his name?
Tim Kelly.
Tim Kelly
yeah, Tim Kelly. Yeah.
with Davis Mills and the offense. So people were excited because there was a change and it got better. Um, but it ended up still being predictable and ass. But I will say this that I just proceed with caution. I said this when we hired Bobby Sword. Wait and see. Everybody was jumping through hoops. I said just wait and see. And by mid-season, I was already out on Bobby.
I still think you could tell the difference.
And
I'll
so
use this. I'll use this analogy. It's kind of like if you only been married once, then no big, then you wouldn't understand. But it's kind of like being if you've been married more than once. That first time, you know, you go in with blinders and I'm in love and you don't see any of the flaws and everything is all perfect. You go that second round, you tend to look at things a little different. You could still make the same mistake, don't get me wrong, but you're looking a little different. So I see it that way. I didn't look as heavy into Bobby Sloyd because one, we knew the offense that he was going to run, and partially that offense was what we kind of had when Kubiak was here. Um, and it's that little the Shanahan Kubiak offense. So you know what it is. And based on the quarterback we drafted, we felt that would be a good offense to work for a rookie because you're not asking him to do anything because you're telling him to do everything. This offense here requires him to actually have more control, which he
Mm,
asked. So he's got the one that's in control of the line of scrimmage. He's the one's calling out the protections and so forth, and that's just different. So yeah, I understand having a sense of caution. I'm not sitting up here saying we're going 15-1, and I mean, sorry, 15-2 or anything like that. But I just feel comfortable that the offense will flow better. The sequence and play calling will be better. And another thing I'll point out where I feel like he's learning on the job, he is, but he actually has a plan. Now, how it works out is always different, but at least there is a plan. One, he did one game in the booth up top, and then he did the other on the sideline. So you're trying to figure out what's going to work. So that tells me, even if you run into some hiccups, in his mind, he's going to be trying to come up with a solution. Um,
mm,
So, and that's fine. I mean, if anybody who does their regular job, you run into hiccups, but if you know your job, you figure out how to solve the problem and then you move on. I feel like they'll run into something because let's say they come out the gate, they're 4-1, or 3-1 because the fifth week we played the Ravens. We go up there, will be a true test. But let's say you lose that game. Yeah, you're disappointed because you want to finally beat them because you need mentally to be able to say I can beat this team. But how did I lose that game? And how do you recover from that? So that's what I'm going to be looking for. But I think he has in the sample size shown that I look at different things in different ways, and I am actually talking to my quarterback. I'm talking to my O line coach, which that was a relationship that was not on the same page. So maybe that's why I'm optimistic. That's just me.
so just I didn't think Bobby was ever good. Thing about it is that I said it before, even when the Laramie Tunsil trade happened, I mentioned that last year the Texans offensive line played as five individuals,
Yep.
which they had the talent. The talent was there, but the mentality wasn't.
Mm.
And there was a lot of selfishness and people doing going into business for themselves and worrying about their paycheck and not worrying about the team. And so that's where the dysfunction and all of the craziness and again, not only was the offensive lineman going into business for themselves, but you had freaking what's his name? What's the former O line coach? Strausser. Chris Strausser
Gotcha.
Uh-huh.
went into business for himself on a daily basis. Um and disregarding any kind of feedback, any kind of help. He wanted to go into business for himself and felt like he was the guy. So you had a lot of that selfishness going on from the O line coach to the offensive lineman. Whereas in turn, now you have a lot of unity. You have a lot of players, one play as a unit, and the mentality is similar across the board. When we brought in guys like Ed Ingram and we brought in Jake Andrews and we brought in Lakin Tomlinson and we brought in all these guys and there was so much negativity about those guys, I went back and said, look at the mentality of these guys. They're lunch pail, spit in the dirt, punch you in the face, and say, what you gonna do about it, guys? And those are the guys that will bring the right mentality. That's the right mentality you needed to play offensive line. And they brought in each one of those guys, and each one of those guys have that mentality, including Cam Robinson as well. They they want to go in and fight every play on the offensive line. And that entail changes your whole room and it brings everybody together. And so I'm just as excited about the potential, but again, like I said, I'm going to proceed with caution until I'm going to give them a few weeks of actual game time and not 30 snaps of preseason. Um Before I go ahead and give my judgment on the offensive line because we're probably not even going to see them on Saturday. The starters at the very least. So it all depends on what they're trying to do, but it's a toss up if we see them or not. But since we're on offense, we're gonna keep talking about it, and we'll continue on Friday as well. We're talking about the 53, but running back is another position that is highly contested. We already dropped one with JJ Taylor, who actually performed well on Saturday, but I want to hear y'all's thoughts on the running back room. And I'm saying it again, Dario Gumbawale is on this roster. So for all those that want to get rid of Dare, him and Frank Ross are two peas in a pod. And Frank, you're gonna have to fire Frank Ross if you have to get rid of Dario Gumbawale. Go for what you got, Clayton, Mike, Swan.
So if you got Dari, if you got Chubb, and you got Mixon, right? Once he comes back, that's three right there. That already is a squeeze. Oh, then you got Woody, so that's four, right?
Mhm.
3, 4. So after that, it gets back to the only guy who we consistently talk about as being will he, won't he? Damian Pierce. And I heard that he was back at practice, right? I guess so. At this point, I've lost track. Um,
Who?
Pierce.
He gone.
All right. I'm
Um,
starting early. I'm starting early. I'm starting early. Go ahead. My bad.
sure. Right. So I'll wrap it real quick. Nah, look, I ain't got much else to say that I haven't already said. I just saying Damian Pierce. I don't see the fit for this team. I just don't see it. I think they're trying their best with him. I think he's trying his best, and I think his best opportunities to show that he could be a mainstay on this offense for long are not here anymore. Uh, and I just think right now the Texans are establishing a culture with Mechie being out and Kenny Green being out of saying, hey, we have a vision right now. We have a sense of urgency. And we don't have time to be coddling and babysitting guys that we just don't think fit that vision. You may not be bad at your job, but if you're not in line with where we're going right now, we can't keep you. And we'll try our best to find the best situation for you. But yeah, we got to open up some spaces. So I just think it comes back to Damian Pierce, simply put.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think he is the odd man out, and he'll be traded. He's another one of the yes.
Not just one.
I would love to like I did with Mechie because once again, uh, one of our guys we drafted, and I would love to hold on to guys that we draft, and if they can produce, in the fact that a gap scheme fits him better than a zone. However, may he rest in peace. The Royal, Gerard Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking over Pierce, unfortunately, because if I have, and I mean, we don't know what Mixon's situation is. You know, rumors are he goes start off on pup. He may not. I think it was Aaron Wilson, but you know, after that last announcement he made, you know, I'll take that for what it's worth. But let's just say he starts off on pup, then it's Chubb, Woody, which I'm fine with. I, Gerard fits better to me. And I like having a home run hitter, and that's something that he can do.
Mm.
And he actually had a pass pro moment, and I thought he did well. So to me, anything that is going to move the sticks, you can uh, protect the quarterback, and you can, you know, break off some runs, you know, and you know, I'm gonna go with that. Whereas Pierce fits more so closer to Chubb, not talent wise, but as far as what you could do. But Woody, Chubb, Jawar, all them got better vision than DP. No,
Pigeon toe.
I'm just sorry. I mean, he does. They do. It's like I saw a small little hole, and shut up, AD. Uh, and
That was
and,
aggressive.
he, and I just it was deliberate when the moment you hand the ball off, they were very decisive. It was like this: if I need to put my foot in the ground and you know change direction, because oops, oh well, hey, you what's the term? Accelerate, decelerate.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like those three know how to do that.
Mm.
Whereas Damien only has one speed. It's like a battering ram, you know. And sometimes you do need that, but sometimes you need to know how to decelerate. And sometimes I feel like he just stuck in neutral um, at times, and that hole closes up, and you know he don't know how to get skinny at all, none whatsoever. So unfortunately, if it's got to be we keeping Dare, then DP got to get sacrificed. Unfortunately,
What you got, Mike? Cause I gotta get
yeah.
on
To,
I gotta get my
take
soapbox real quick.
rehab. That's mine too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jules, we love you, buddy, but I don't know if predicting rushing totals.
He wasn't totally wrong though, Mike.
Uh-huh.
If Devin Singletary
Uh-uh.
had started the whole season, he would have. He had 900, and he
I'm
didn't play for
saying
half
that.
the
I'm saying that
season.
1,200, but he didn't get it. If I had a hit, them three extra numbers, I wouldn't be on. I wouldn't be on this podcast with y'all right now.
But yeah, you know, I can still hear
I
whenever I read
know I'm about to
Jawar's name. Whenever I read Jawar's name, I hear it in Chris's voice.
Yes.
So that's how
Jordan.
Jordan. But yeah, I mean he's got an outside shot to make it. Depending on how many running backs we keep. You know, Nick Chubb has had a really nice camp and preseason for a guy that's not going to make the team. You know, according to
You mean that's washed?
yeah, according to certain people. No, I love what we got with Mixon and Chubb. And Woody Marks is, I've been saying it, Woody Marks is going to make some plays for us, especially in the passing game. That's what I said. And then, yeah, you're right, AD. Daria's going to make the team. Y'all can just live with it.
Hey.
This is Frank Ross's world. And then it's a question of, Terroir, if he's going to be on the practice squad or make the 53. Oh, one last point. Are we shocked that the first one to get cut in the backfield was the guy who got caught by like a 400-pound defensive tackle? Go ahead, AD.
Gosh.
So I'm gonna get on my soapbox real quick, and then we can close it out on this episode because we got Friday to talk about the wide receivers and the defense. I'm going to say this. I never have understood the leeway, the crowning, the pedestal putting that Dameon Pierce has been put on since his arrival in Houston. I will never forget Dameon Pierce, the first preseason game we played against the Los Angeles Rams in 2023. 22, I'm sorry. Dameon Pierce played a total of probably 12 snaps and was shut down and immediately named the starter for the Houston Texans. I will say this. He has been getting passes after passes after passes his whole time here in Houston. I saw it too, Clayton. I don't know what the heck is going on with that.
What?
It was the Astros.
Oh, okay.
But it just doesn't make sense because Dameon Pierce has done absolutely nothing to deserve being put on a pedestal and been given anything. Him being given a roster spot and not practicing but 3 days in training camp, not playing in any preseason games, and he's given a roster spot is, in the words of Stephen A. Smith, blasphemous. Okay? It's utter blasphemy that this man, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna ban you from watching Astros when you be doing this because you
dude almost broke his back. And again, it's just utter idiotic to me that fans would want to keep giving him chance after chance after chance after chance. Dameon Pierce, as much criticism as I have gotten on Kenyon Green, how dare ye say anything to me about Dameon Pierce?
Dameon Pierce actually did produce at least
that's
a rookie, the angry run. Sure.
No. We getting pat. No, we're not talking about the angry run. Literally, you had 900 plus yards. You got shut down because of an injury.
What else did
the Texans do? But I'm saying
you handing the ball off to Dameon Pierce 30 times a game. In 17 games, I hope the hell he do get 900 yards.
No, what I am saying is
shit.
We had nothing else of offense
and that don't
in that season. But you know
anything.
He did. Well, I'm saying, you asked the question, what did he do when Kenyon Green got a hard time? The difference is Kenyon Green never produced in order for you to feel a certain way, whereas most folks were saying, you had your Dameon Pierce truthers on one, hands raised. Hey, we ought to trade him because he does not fit this scheme. So I think that's the difference for a few of us that are left that say, let's see what he can do in this game because this fits more so what he probably can do compared to being in the zone scheme. However, there are other guys that have trumped him. So I'm okay saying we can move on.
Yeah, and that part about the narrative of I want to see him in this scheme. He need to get the hell out there and practice and play.
I
Yeah,
agree. I know
ain't no way,
no.
ain't no way.
That's why I'm saying I'm okay with
Oh,
trading him, because his thing is you not being on the field allowed Jawar Jordan, the practice squad kid, the 6th rounder, to actually jump you. You allowed the rookie that was drafted in the 4th round, Woody Marks, to jump you. So that's on you. And technically, they went out and got Chubb because you
you
can be
wasn't
on the
reliable.
field. So I'm fine. You allowed 3 people to jump you. So if you get traded, cut, that's on you, unfortunately. And yes, Bobby Sloak didn't do you any favors with the scheme. But your injuries, no, hold on, what I'm saying is the scheme
No.
didn't
I'm
do
talking about the comment.
any favors, but you getting injured just kind of like, piled onto it. It's kind of like, back to that quarterback on it in the division. You can say that you were rushed to play, but hell, if you can't stay on the field, you can't develop. So if you can't stay on the field, how in the hell do we know what you are? And if other people are actually producing and showing what we need, I can't wait for you.
It's just again, Damian Pierce like does not deserve. And what's gonna piss me off
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag
is
piss
that
me off.
he's not gonna play on Saturday, and they on Tuesday they're gonna say he made the 53, and that's gonna irritate my soul. And I'm probably gonna have to burn something.
You think it's not okay
Because
if he made it? If it's one of them guys, because they remember it's 90 of them. Okay, so as long as not really somebody who you really thought
I
they
ain't
should have kept that was going to truly start, if it's a special teamer, then I won't be as mad because we used them on special teams last year. But if if you cutting into somebody who actually could be starting, then you know I'd be upset. Like, I like Jawar. I don't think he belongs on the practice squad. I actually think he should make the 53. That's in
so
my opinion. Because like I said, we don't know what Mixon is. So to me, I would rather have Chubb, Woody, and Jawar. And if you want to wait for Mixon one game and play in be honest with you, I probably wouldn't. If you don't play week 1, I probably wouldn't play him before week 5 when we play the Ravens.
Oh,
Just roll with the 3 guys.
yeah, I'm the same way. To be honest with you, because I'm like, if he misses week 1, he's gonna miss week 2, and I'm not concerned or of need of Mixon against the Jaguars or the
Or the
Titans.
Bucks or
No,
the
I'm just
Titans.
saying. I'm talking about the last two. The first two, I'm like, if he's not gonna play week 1, he's not playing week 2.
Yeah.
Um,
The reason I'm not worried about the week 2 is
yeah,
because technically it's a home game, and I figure
yeah.
pumped up the rookies will play. Basically, rookies play better at home initially until
So
they get comfortable playing on the road. So
yeah.
I feel like Woody and Jawar would be fine playing with against the Bucks
But
and along with
I
Chubb.
just
So
I just wanted to go with the comment about Frank talking about you need a backup plan. Your backup plan is Nick Chubb. Your backup plan is Woody Marks. Your backup plan is Jawar Jordan.
yeah,
Dare
guys.
Ogunbowale gives you more as a 4th or 5th running back than what Damian Pierce can as a 4th or 5th running back. Dare Ogunbowale can catch the ball out of the backfield. Dare Ogunbowale is a special teams player.
Mm-hmm.
Dare Ogunbowale, hell, if need be, if Kaimi get hurt, Dare can kick an extra point for you. Like, and Dare can do
We should have kicked
more
the field
than
goal for
and
us.
and again, he did. And I will say this: Damian Pierce was so bad as a running back, he had been regulated as a primary kick returner.
Right. I
After
can make
being,
Jawar that. What I'm saying is, why I say I would make him part of my 53 is that I can throw him on special teams.
yeah, I mean, it's not even Jawar. You have Jawar, Woody Marks, both of those guys can be special teams backs.
Right.
But neither here nor there. I just need the Damian Pierce crap to die. I just need him gone off my roster so we can move on because I'm tired of people going back again to 2022 and at 900 yards. And then it doesn't help that he come in every so often, every 6 or 7 games, he'll make one play, he'll make one run, and everybody want to harp on it
Hey,
again.
don't be them
Against,
big runs. Now, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah.
um, and again,
Oh, he be making that average look good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, maybe because it was the Titans, that shit felt good. I'm sorry.
thank you, Texas fan rehab.
Diarrhea is
Exactly.
only a spot place.
And that's all you need is your fourth or fifth running back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And again, what do you get? And Chubb hasn't looked the same. You've
yeah.
only
He's
seen
looking at.
Chubb in
What are
like
you
8
seeing?
carries in the preseason.
No,
What do
but I'm
you
trying to
mean? He
figure out
don't
what are
look
you
the same?
seeing that he doesn't. He's not looking slow.
No.
He's decisive. He hit the
Again,
hole,
I
and
think
what he did his whole career is even after contact, he's still getting extra yardage. That is what he did. He was never a burner.
Well, right, but I mean, he's still a home run threat because of his physicality
Right,
and
but
his
I'm saying is
vision.
when we watched when they needed third down and so forth, even when after contact, he still got extra yardage. That's what you got him for.
Frank
And
said,
even me, like I was kind of skeptical of the Chubb signing initially, but he's got it. Like,
so
Why
this
you
is
won't
the
make it
thing.
past week 10?
So this is the thing. So he again, Nick Chubb, for whatever reason, people want to doubt him or whatever. Nick Chubb has come back from 3 major injuries and has produced every time he's come back from these injuries. So why would this be different than before? Because when he got injured in Georgia, people said he wouldn't be the same running back.
Ain't back.
mhm.
When he got injured, when he
Cleveland.
got
That's
to
when he
the
was supposed to
NFL,
end his career. It didn't.
right,
The
he
foot
wasn't
he's come
right.
back from.
So again, I'm just saying what I've seen with my eyes in the preseason game and what I've saw in the training camp practice and the joint practice.
Yep.
Nick Chubb is fine,
Yep.
Mhm.
and again, you
How many
gotta
how
take
many camps did you
everything
see him in? Did you see
right.
him in the first week?
Or did you see him against the joint practice or what? But again, I will say this: you got to also take practice with a grain of salt because nobody's tackling in practice.
Not to take
You
you to the
can't
ground like
tell. You can't tell if he would have broken a tackle. You can't tell if he would have made some move or whatever because again, in training camp, it's almost like touch football.
Mhm.
We're not gonna go hard. We're not gonna real life tackle. Even the joint practices, nobody was real life tackling or hitting. That's why it was about to be a fight when Xavier Hutchinson got knocked to the ground because that ain't the rules of what practice is right now in the NFL. So again, what if you're saying what you've seen in
Keep
practice?
your cash where your mouth. Here's the thing: is you do understand he is not RB1. We are not giving him 30 touches.
So
All we're doing is waiting for Mixon to come back,
um,
and that's your
Frank
RB1.
been on one. Shout out Frank, man. Frank been on one this whole night. But you
Man,
know,
you can go down there to what is that?
uh,
Kashada or whatever that is. Go on and go and put your money down on
all you
that.
need to do is go to Louisiana. You can go
Yeah,
to any casino in Louisiana. You can make a
go make
bet.
you some money, Frank.
I will put money that he's gonna have probably 700-800 yards rushing though, at the very least. So we'll see, man. But I'm gonna go ahead and end it here on this good old running back topic. Appreciate everybody and over 200 watching us live. Shout out everybody in the comments. Frank, DQ, DQ say Chubb still got it. Texan fan in rehab, Yvonne, Jules, Brandon Hollum. Um, let me see who else was in here as well. Um, yeah, from Larry Payton as well. Derek Green, and you got E Mac. You got Houston sports fan K1 Stella, Mike One, um, Coach Dante as well. Dre. Shout out everybody that was in the comments as well. We appreciate y'all. Rolo as well. Chill out. Neptune, our regulars as always. Again, shout out my co-host Mike G, Auntie Swan, Clayton. Appreciate everybody for joining us on another episode of H-Town Rundown, and we will see y'all on Friday where we'll continue talking about the 53. We'll
Yes.
preview the Detroit Lions game. We'll talk about what happened in the joint practices with the Detroit Lions as well. and we will see y'all on Friday. Peace.
Peace.